Okay, we will begin the City Parkway 5 Inc. Board meeting for October 27, 2025. Our first item is to do a call to order and a roll call.
Rosa Cortez.
All right, and Mike Jansen. And with that, I believe we have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
We'll move on to item 2, which is an announcement regarding compliance with open meeting law.
We are compliant.
All right, great. Item 3, public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Seeing no one for public comment, we will close public comment. Move on to item 4. Item 4, for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of regular meeting of July 7th, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the final minutes.
I'll second that. That motion will pass. Move on to item 5, discussion for possible action regarding the election of officers to the City Parkway 5 Inc. Board. Get a staff report from Raven.
Raven Cole, Management Analyst, Economic and Urban Development. The proposed officers are as follows. We have Mike Jansen for President, Susan Heltsley, Secretary and Treasurer, Rosa Cortez, Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, Dina Babsky, Vice President and Chief Operating Officer.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the election of the proposed recommendations for the officers of the City Parkway 5.
I'll second that. And with that, that motion passes. We'll move on to item 6, discussion for possible action regarding the appointment of directors to serve on the Symphony Park Master Association Board. Get a staff report from Raven.
Raven Cole, Management Analyst, Economic and Urban Development. The proposed officers are as follows. We have Mike Jansen, voting member, Susan Heltsley, voting member, and Rosa Cortez, voting member.
I make a motion to approve the appointment of those serving on the Symphony Park Master Association Board.
All right, I'll second that. And that motion passes. We'll move on to item 7, discussion for possible action regarding an amendment to the amended and restated community center, community charter for Symphony Park. Charter by City Parkway 5 Inc. Corporation as founder during the founder control period as permitted under the charter, to add an additional land use classification to Exhibit D of the charter for the parcels in the project which are owned by the City of Las Vegas or an affiliated entity, and improved with parking garages, and which are located at 350 South City Parkway, APN 13934211004, and 355 Promenade Place, APN 13933610033, which new land use classification will have no equivalent units or voting rights, and to grant to the president of the corporation the authority to execute and record the amendment to the charter as approved as to form by the corporation's council. This is Ward 5, Councilwoman Summers Armstrong. Can we get a staff report on this?
Yeah, Kelly Swanson, Administrative Officer for Economic and Urban Development. This item is to inform you and allow for discussion of staff preparing an amendment to the community charter for Symphony Park, which will clarify that the parking portions of the parking garages will not be assessed nor have any equivalent units nor voting rights attributed to them.
Okay, any questions on that item? Happy to take a motion.
I make a motion to approve the amendment to the amended and restated community charter for Symphony Park.
Okay, I'll second that. And that item passes. Move on to item 8, discussion regarding City Parkway 5 Inc.'s role in the new Symphony Park Master Association. We get a staff report on that.
Raven Cole, Management Analyst, Economic and Urban Development. Essentially, we put together a timeline for the end of the founder's control period. So the first couple slides are just an explanation of what it is. The founder is the development manager for Symphony Park. That's CP5. Certain rights were given to the founders, such as the right to appoint the majority of SPMA board until the termination of the founders period. So one of our deadlines will be voting for a new board. The founder control period began when the community was created and ends when certain events are triggered. So on our next slide, the trigger of this end will be the 75% of parcels conveyed to owners other than the project owner. We can go to the next two slides. We can skip over that one as well. The anticipation is that parcel E will close on Tuesday, December 30th, 2025. Then the founder's control period ends. 60 days later will be February 28th, 2026, and that's ultimately the end of the founder's control period, but we've given them a little grace period as well to help with the transition. So 5 directors are to be elected to the new board. By Thursday, February 19th, the managing agent must be contracted for general and administrative duties. So by February 19th, we'd like to have the new managing office come in and basically be running SPMA. We have some notes for them in the next meeting regarding the duties that we did process. By Thursday, February 26th, the founders to have turned over all books and records of the association as well as all property. So we had to clarify, and we don't necessarily have much property, but it would include any vehicles or offices that we would have purchased to help maintain. We don't have those, but our books and things will be turned over. And then the 60th day is Saturday, February 28th. So the Thursday before that would be the date that we'd have everything turned over to them.
And parcel E, that is, which project again?
Red Ridge.
Oh, Red Ridge, okay, gotcha, the Cello Tower, okay.
And then, oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
That's pretty much it. We would give them basically that 6-month grace period is what I was explaining, and we'd like to have that done by Tuesday, June 30th.
And this item, Raven, just discussion, there's no action on this item, it's just really to get us up to speed on what's coming up.
Correct.
This is Sandy Turner, Deputy City Attorney from the City Attorney's Office. Just for clarification, if any of those dates were to fall on a Saturday, as Raven noted, then the last day will actually roll into the next business day, which would be a Monday. So we'll make a couple adjustments on those dates, but nothing of significance.
Gotcha. I know we've been talking about this for quite some time, knowing this day was coming and, you know, the pros, cons associated with staying in the current position or just, you know, essentially since we're divesting ourselves of almost all of the property, it's the right thing to do. And so I think we just continue to prepare ourselves to be as ready as we are to give the new board everything they need to take over property management. And will this be essentially like a HO management company that'll be taking it over?
Yes, Dina Babsky, that's correct. So they should be looking for an HOA. That's why we're giving them the grace period because, you know, we want to make sure that the transition is smooth. So we'll continue to serve as their HOA until the 30th.
Any other questions from the board?
Can I get a copy of this presentation?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, if no further discussion on this item, again, it's just informational. So we'll move on to item number 9, and this is an abeyance item. Report by staff regarding the Donald Reynolds Symphony Park Maintenance and Use Covenants, Ward 5, Summers Armstrong. We got a staff report on this?
Tracy Wright, Redevelopment Manager, Economic and Urban Development for the record. A few months ago, we discussed that the Smith Center, who is responsible for the maintenance of the park, were not upholding the covenants that they are under jurisdiction for the maintenance. We have had several discussions with the director, Myron Martin. We've had several conversations with the SPMA board member and Myron and some things. We finally came to an agreement with Myron. He has reseeded the park. It looks very nice right now. He's back in compliance. He will be bringing forth changes to the park design for the Master Association Board and for the Symphony Park Design Review Committee to review. We've seen a preliminary design for it. It is very different, very a lot of hardscape and not so much, and not hardly any grass at all with that. I'm not sure how that will be received by either of those two organizations, but we're on the right track to get this resolved.
Potential timeline of where the reseeding, I know we had a lot of feedback on the grass-related components with the ribbon cuts coming up, I think, for a couple of big projects, and wanting to see that park's grass be as, as good as it could be. Does that look like we're on track for that to be where it needs to be?
Yes, they reseeded, Tracy Reich, redevelopment manager for the record. They reseeded about 3 weeks ago, and it actually cannot see the dirt patches right at the moment. So it is on, and they have it fenced off so that there's no activity in there to allow that grass to take place. So for ribbon cuttings for the ULI awards, the park should look in pristine condition.
Well, that's great to hear, and I'm glad it finally came together. I know we discussed it quite a bit. Any other further questions or discussion on this item? This is just a report on the status of the park maintenance.
No further questions.
All right, no further questions, then we can move on to item 10, which is citizens' participation. For item 10, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the board. No subject may be acted upon by the board unless the subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Looking out, seeing no citizens who are participating, so we'll close citizens' participation, and we'll move on to item 11, which is to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.